Okay, someone asks another question on Quora. Is it possible to submit a form to a different controller action based on a button click? Absolutely. Let's show you that. So I've got an MVC app which has got just a home controller with a simple get request handler called index. This is the only action it can handle get requests. In the view, I have a simple form that doesn't specify where to post these values to. If I run this application now, because I haven't specified anything to the begin form method, this is going to generate a markup that's going to post back to itself, which is to the index action on the home controller. And since there isn't any yet that handles a post request, if I clicked the button, it would fail or give me an error. Let's do that and see. Run the application. I have this button, I enter something foobar and I submit. Obviously I get a 404 saying you don't have a handler. Let's go and write that handler. So I'll just write a post handler. Since I already have a method in a class with these parameters, the C# rules say that you have to overload the method. You can't have two methods with the exact same parameter signatures. So we'll take care of that in a moment. But this is the one I intend to have for just post requests. And since I am passing in a first name, let me give it an argument that accepts the first name. And you know that MVC model binder, the default model binder, looks at the whole environment for a name of either an argument, for a name of an argument, or a route definition, any of the elements or components that make up a route. It checks the names, and if the names match any of the names of the controls, not their IDs, then it binds them together. It tries to stuff the value from this guy into this guy. So over here I'll just return a message saying hello first name plus. I'm not going to make any checks as to whether this is empty or null or whatever. Now if I run this code, it should print hello whatever I type. I'll type my name. Let's make it big. I'll type my name and that prints hello Satyaish. Lovely. Now if I want to post to a different controller action, it's really simple. There are overloads of this begin form method that specifically ask you which action to post to. So there is an overload called this one that asks you for the action name and the controller name. So before I do that, let me make a different controller and different action. I'll just copy this. I'll just copy this guy. I'll call this different controller, and I'll come here and delete this, and I'll say this is a different controller, and this action is called another action, and this also, let's say this handles post. You can't get it, but you can post to it, and it's going to need to accept the first name somewhere, and if it doesn't, it'll be passed the first name in the query string. So let's just give it the first name. It's not necessary. You can even get the first name from the request object. You can just give first name here, or you can say request.queryString and then index the string first name over here, or you can specify that as an argument, and the default model binder, as I just mentioned, will bind this name to this name. So if I said I want this action called another on this controller called different to accept this request, and that's all I need to do, and that'll come here, and I can again return the same code that I had. I'll say hello or good morning, just to differentiate between the action I just wrote a while ago and this one. Okay, if I run this application now, this time if I post my name, I'll write my name and post it, we should see that we've landed on another action on the different controller, and it says good morning Satyesh. That's how you basically post. Now this method has several overloads, some allowing you to pass the kind of method you want to pass. By default it's a post method, and there's even one that allows you to pass route values, which means any of the elements of that make up the route. And the elements that make up a route are in route config. As you already know, you can pass the action name, the controller name here as well. So you could actually use this overload and do the exact same thing. You could say, I want to use the overload that only accepts an object with route values. So I'll give it an anonymous object that takes in controller name as different controller and the action name as another action, and this also will achieve the exact same effect. It'll call, hang on, close this object, close the begin from method and the using statement, and this should achieve the exact same effect. It should call the different controllers another action. I'll write my own name again, and we have the same effect. Or if you wanted to know if you could make an AJAX request of some kind, or if let's go one by one. Okay, if you wanted to know, and you can even pass other route values over here. You can say something like 1 equals foo. Let me just make up some values. 1 equals foo and 2 equals bar. So I'm just passing some extra route values, and the default model binder will check this controller if this action doesn't have any parameters that it can stuff these 1 and 2 values into. So it'll use them, it'll get them, it'll put them in the, it'll send them as a part of the query string, so you can actually get them from the query string. And if you actually don't know where they are, whether they're in the query string or in the request body, you can just say request and index the other key from here. And then I can say good morning this 1 equals, let me actually interpolate the string. One equals 1, 2 equals 2. That's it. That's the message, and we send that message to the client. And we get the values. Or you could specify these as arguments, and the model binder will happily bind them even here. And if I run this, I get the same effect that we've been seeing previously. I'll type my name and run this, and I get the same effect. Okay, maybe you meant if I click this button, can I submit, can I change, I've already got this to be posted to this guy, can I change it to be posted to something else? Sure, absolutely. Let's go ahead and write a script. I'll make the still different handler, still different controller And so the yet another action receives the first name. It doesn't receive these two guys, so I'll remove these two guys and I'll just have a simple message. I'll just let it say good night, first name. That's it. Let's check if everything is okay. I'm posting to yet another action on still different controller. This is yet another action on still different controller. I'm posting the first name. I've got the first name in the form. Sorry, that's the problem. On submit, I don't think there's an on submit on a jQuery object. The on submit is on a regular object, a regular, form object. So I could actually, I need to change this. I need to say, I'll just say var frm equals document dot get element by ID. The element name is frm, and instead of the jQuery object, I just need to say on the frm, set the on submit to this, and then I don't need to use this guy. I can just say frm dot action, and let's see if that does it. That should do it. I'll stop the debugger, rebuild everything so that the new views are compiled, and this time it should do it. Yes, it does it. We are close at least. It says there is nothing of this type that is of type post that handles a post request. Of course, I must have forgotten to add the post thing on this guy. No, I did. Yet another action. I called it yet another action. Sorry, it was just yet another. And finally, this should run. Does. So that's how you do it.
मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास मेरे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास मेरे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे। ना देवल में, ना मूरत में, ना सूरत में। अब मनुष्य क्या है? मनुष्य ईश्वर को जहाँ ढूंढता है वहां ईश्वर बोल रहा है, जहाँ तू मेरे को ढूंढ रहा है वहां मैं नहीं हूं। ना मूरत में, ना सूरत में, ना मूरत में, ना सूरत में, ना एकांत निवास मेरे, ना एकांत निवास मेरे, निवास में। वो बोलता है ना तो मैं मूरत में हूं, ना सूरत में हूं, ना एकांत निवास में हूं। तू जाके कहीं तपस्या कर रहा है वहां भी नहीं हूं मैं। फिर कहा ना मंदिर में, ना मस्जिद में, ना मंदिर में, ना मस्जिद में, ना काबा कैलाश मेरे, ना काबा कैलाश मेरे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास मेरे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे। ना मैं जप में, ना मैं तप में, ना मैं जप में, ना मैं तप में, बरत उपास मेरे, नामे बरत उपास में। रब ने कहा नामे जप में, नामे तप में, नामे बरत उपास में। अरे बंदे, मैंने तेरे लिए कितनी चीजें बनाई है, अगर तू जिंदगी भर एक एक दाल खाएगा तो पूरी दालें नहीं खा पाएगा। अगर तू जिंदगी भर एक एक फल खाएगा तो तेरी जिंदगी में पूरे फल नहीं खा पाएगा, और तू भूख मर रहा है। नामे जप में, नामे तप में, नामे बरत उपास मेरे, नामे बरत उपास मेरे, नामे बरत उपास में। नाही क्रिया कर्म मेरे ता, नाही क्रिया कर्म मेरे ता, नामे योग संन्यास मेरे, नामे योग संन्यास मेरे। कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास मेरे। मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे। लास्ट में कबीर कह रहे हैं, खोजी हुए तो तुरंत मिलूं मैं, खोजी हुए तो तुरंत मिलूं मैं, खोजी हुए तो तुरंत मिलूं मैं। एक पल की तलाश मेरे, एक पल की तलाश में। कह कबीर सुनो रे साधो, कह कबीर सुनो रे साधो, मैं तो हूँ विश्वास मेरे, मैं तो विश्वास मेरे। मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मोको कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास मेरे। मोको कहाँ ढूंढे, अरे ढूंढे, अरे ढूंढे।